Hi again, everyone. Welcome back to We Can Do This. I'm Julie, and I come to you every week talking about different self help topics that I hope help you because we're all in this together. So I thank you for joining me if you're joining me live, and if not, you're watching the replay. I appreciate you as well. Thank you so much. Um, I would like to remind everybody today, I always give my disclaimer first. So I'm going to do that first. Please know that I am not a physician. I am not a trained professional of any kind in the medical field. I suggest that if there's anything that I talk about, please go see a professional, whether it's your PCP or your psychiatrist or therapist, whomever. um, I am doing these live streams because I have the need to try to help others. And I've gone through a lot of things in my life. And I'm hoping that whatever I've gone through and whatever topics I talk about are helping you as well. So I have to tell you this because I want everybody to subscribe and give me the thumbs up today. I've gotten a couple new subscribers lately, which I really am excited about. And I've been telling everybody, if the topics I'm doing, if you know of someone who could benefit from the topics we're talking about here, please feel free to share the information with them. I post my broadcasts on my Facebook every week. So please reach out, share the information, and we're here to help each other. That's what it's all about. That's what my channel's about. So I know that the topic we're going to talk about today, it's very delicate. I know that. It's really, really about me today. I want you to feel like that you and I are just sitting having a talk one on one. I don't know how much you've noticed if you were a viewer of mine like months ago, but I've moved my broadcasts into most of the time in my living room or on my deck. And the reason I've done that is I want you to feel like you're here with me. We're at home, we're just sitting here chilling, talking, relaxing, and talking about things that are important to us. And I found that, me sitting here in my cozy living room, and I know you can't see this right now, but I actually have one of our cats in my lap. Bruiser is on my right side here. He is my assistant today. Yeah, every week I seem to have a new assistant with me, which is fine. We have 6 of them. So for this discussion today, let's face it, any time that we're going through heartbreak of any type, you're very much on an emotional roller coaster. And there's usually some pretty deep pain that you have going on. Now, we're not just talking about boy-girl relationships. I mean, there's so many other different kinds of heartbreak, that we go through. A broken heart is a very complex thing. We may not see it that way, but it really is. It could be a broken heart from losing a friendship. It could be losing a family member, a death. It could be losing a job. It could be, any number of things, and it's a time whenever you feel like your whole world is just crashing around you, coming crashing down around you. And unfortunately, the thing about heartbreak is that it's a process. Anytime you need to heal a broken heart, it takes time. So time is very much not on your side because it's a very painful path you need to take. But at the same time, it is on your side because eventually it can work with you to eventually make you feel better about what you're currently going through and the pain you're feeling now. So while there's no easy, quick fix, for healing a broken heart, there are some things we can do along this painful journey. We're going to talk about some things that we can do along with, after I go through these things, I'm going to mention a couple of things I want you to keep in the back of your mind, as you're going through all this. So the first thing you need to do Give yourself permission to grieve. There is nothing that annoys me more than when I see somebody who is going through heartbreak and is very sad, however they're feeling, whether they're sad, they're angry, they're feeling lonely, or they're feeling guilty. Um, we're allowed to feel, you know, you're allowed to feel how you feel. It gets so annoying to me whenever people say, why don't you just get over it? Why are you feeling that way? Just move on. It's not that simple, is it? It's not easy. Everyone is different. We all deal with heartbreak in our own ways, in our own time. Chances are that whenever you're going through it, you're going to find out and figure out, even if you feel like you are all alone in how you feel, chances are you're not. And I'm here as living proof to tell you you're not. Because every single one of us at one time or another has gone through some pretty rough times. I have over the years, and I know all of you have too as well. So while it's challenging, just know you are allowed to feel how you feel. One thing you need to do is take care of yourself while you're going through it. And I know that's the last thing you feel you want to do. When you're hurting, the last thing you want to do is think about yourself, and your state. Because let's face it, whenever you're going through heartbreak, it's very emotionally and physically draining, right? And while there are things you can do, that we've talked about on this channel before, we've talked about mindfulness, paying attention to your breathing, meditation. There's other things too that we need to remember and consider whenever we're feeling this way. And I know the last thing you want to do is remember to eat. You're always telling someone when they're going through something, you really need to eat something. And when you're going through it, you're just like, oh, no, I just can't. I don't want anything. When really you need to. We all need to eat. And you need to stay hydrated. Now, I do not mean by adult beverages. That is not what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. Drink your water. You don't want to dehydrate. The last thing you need is another issue going on. Take care as far as eating and drinking. And another thing you need to do is remember is everyone is different in the way that they react to having a broken heart. Everybody hurts in their own way. When people don't reach out to you in the way that you need whenever you need help, please don't get frustrated or angry with them. People are not mind readers. People, they don't know how you're feeling, what you're going through, because you're you. We all handle and feel things differently. So you need to, if you want to be alone, or do you want a bunch of people surrounding you, a bunch of your friends surrounding you? People handle it in different ways. You need to cope with your loss in the way that you feel comfortable doing while at the same time still taking care of yourself. And I'm going to mention it again. I mention it with all kinds of different topics. It's real popular. And I think it's kind of funny because I don't do this, but I know people who do and they say it really helps them, is write it down. Now, I have to be honest. I never thought about writing things down whenever I was going through a broken heart. I get so caught up in the emotion of it, the strength of it. But when you can write things down on a piece of paper, list both your emotional and your tangible needs. This can help you focus on what it is others can do to help you, what you're going through. You have something physically in front of you written down that you can take to others and say, this is what I really need. You have something tangible right in front of you to go by, a list that you can reference. And I never thought about it, but that's a really great idea. And another thing that you can do, and I say this because I did this during the pandemic and it was totally unexpected, but I found out that it really helped. I have, as a buyer, I've been a buyer all my life at different companies, and it's a very stressful job. One thing I did learn in the pandemic is I could work outside on my deck in the summertime. And I had nature around me. And it wasn't something like I was cognitive about. But after a while, when I'd be working on my deck, one day during a meeting, I actually had deer come from the neighbor's property over to ours. So during a meeting, I'm sitting there watching deer walk around. And I'm like, this is really cool. Whenever you get into nature, get outside, take a walk, get out of the four walls you're in. There is nothing that can help increase loneliness or any emotions than staying inside the four walls of a house. Now, right now in Pennsylvania, I'm not sure how you would do this. I don't really recommend it today because today we have not only had snow, now we have rain, and I guess it's going to get worse, and we're going to go into negative temperatures again next week. So if you do want to go outside, you're going to need an umbrella and some really great boots. But if you can, get outside, get out of the house, walk through nature, go to your local park. You can really find a lot of comfort and peacefulness in nature. It's very quiet. It's very soothing. So don't forget, give it a try, or say there's an activity you normally like to do, whatever it is. What do you like doing? Spend time doing it. Even though you may not feel like doing it, spend time doing it. Actually schedule that time for you. Put that time aside. Do it. Scheduling these moments, these brief moments of something, activities that you actually brings joy and brings happiness to you, they are vital for healing a broken heart. It's a process. It's a process. But something like that little can help down that road to help you feel better. The next one is an obvious one. Seek professional help. I say this all the time. I have so many people that I talk to who want nothing to do with that. I don't want on medication. I don't want to talk to a stranger. I've got to tell you, they're really missing out on helping themselves. I think that's really sad, whenever I get that reaction from people. I have to tell you, and this may surprise you that I'm going to say this, but I'm going to say it and just work with me here. When you talk to a stranger, now don't get me wrong, talking to your friends and your family is a very important part of your healing too. But what I've found about people like that, your family, your friends, they love you, they know you, they care about you. And sometimes whenever we have someone like that trying to help us, they will say what they think we want to hear because they love us, and they're not going to see the situation. Not that I'm not saying they're not going to see it clearly, but they're going to see it through glasses of kindness and love and caring. And I have to tell you, sometimes that is not what you need. And I'm speaking from experience. I went through a very, very bad time about 8 years ago. And I can tell you, I had the most wonderful support from my family and friends. They were amazing. They still are. But I have to tell you, what happened was I transitioned from being the person I was, the one you see now, into a very angry individual. It didn't matter what it was. I was angry all the time. And I couldn't figure out why. And it really bothered me. And I'm like, what is wrong with me? I found out and figured out when you go to someone, I went to a therapist, when you go to someone that doesn't know anything about your situation, they're outside of what you're going through. They have very unbiased point of view. They don't have those rose-colored glasses on for you. They have a very clear vision of a totally unknown situation to them. They will give you the point of view and the advice you need. Um, and it helps you, this can help you work, especially when you have really intense emotions. That is a good way to cope, to have those outside individuals, share it with you. Hey Rach, how you doing? Love you. Rach is my best friend from a long time ago, and we just hooked up late recently. And I love her to death, and yeah, she's been going through some rough times lately. And so many people feel like when they need help, it's a sign of weakness. So sad to me. You're right, Rach. You're right. It is really sad that people would say that and fight against anything that would be able to help them, but they just seem to have this block up, this wall up to going to a total stranger. But I can tell you, boy, can it help. It definitely helps the healing the way you need to be healed. Okay. And this is what caused me to find that I was transitioning from being the person I was to being a really angry individual. And when I was going through therapy about it, I found out, and it was called therapy. No one that I would have ever talked to, like on the street or at home or wherever, would have told me this. What happened to me over years was I was holding hurt inside. I was very much, and I've talked about this on this channel. I don't hide anything that I went through many years of being a verbal target. And it was a very bad time for me. I was really, really in a very bad emotional place. So I kept that bottled up for years. And it wasn't a short period of time, it was for years. And what eventually happened was when I left that very toxic environment I was in, about 6 months later, once I was out of it for a while and I got back into a more realistic atmosphere, I exploded. The way that they put it was I was a powder keg waiting to blow. And that's what happened. All those years, all that bottling up inside, it exploded. And it came out as anger because back then I couldn't be angry. I couldn't be. It was my job. I was in a work environment, and you didn't talk down or, to a manager. You just don't do that. That's the etiquette. But I really paid a high price to do that. It does build up. You need to make a cognitive effort to heal and feel better. Do not keep it bottled up. Please, I'm begging you. This is my experience talking. Think about, you are an amazing individual. You are important. You're vital. And you would treat a family member, a friend, with compassion if they were going through something, right? You deserve that compassion too. Take some time and some space for yourself. Be kind to yourself. Take that downtime. It is important to your healing. You're important. You're vital, and you're worth it. We spend so much of our lives being there for others. We spend so much of our time dedicating our strengths and our time and our efforts into helping everybody else around us. But when it comes time to helping ourselves, we just don't think that we should be kind to ourselves. We deserve it. We more than deserve it. We've earned it. And you owe it to yourself to do that. Take time to talk. Talk. Share how you feel. Especially around the holidays. Let's face it, we just went through this. Over the holidays. Holidays are not happy for everybody. It's in our face everywhere we look around the holidays, right? It's on a television. It's all over the internet. Everywhere we go, it's in the stores. It's all happy, joy. And, jingle bells and, Merry Christmas and, happy joy. And a lot of people, holidays are not easy for them, for whatever reason. There's lots of different reasons that could be. But don't Let it build up. Don't keep it inside. You need to get that out of your system. Until you do, you're not going to heal and help yourself. You are your best advocate. You can do it. I'm sitting here telling you, I can do it. You can do it too. I'm a strong person, but I have my limits. We all have our limits, but you can do this. You owe it to yourself. And now with all of those kind of little tips here, I'm sorry, Bruiser keeps moving in my lap and keeps bumping my camera here. All right. So while you're going through the process, remember, these are some of the things to keep in the back of your mind. Remember, your feelings are valid. Don't let anybody tell you different. Be honest with yourself. That's what's important. Be honest with yourself, how you're feeling, and see the impact the grief is having in your life. I can't tell you how many times I've looked in the mirror whenever I'm sad, and I actually see what I look like, what my face looks like, my facial expressions. I know how I feel. My heart is just broken from head to toe. You feel it all over. Get it out. Your feelings are valid. Don't ever think they aren't. And please, it's not a competition. I've had this conversation with so many people over the years. Everybody thinks that there's a time frame that you should be healing and feeling better in. I've heard that so many times, I just don't know why I'm not feeling better yet. What's wrong with me? Well, I can tell you right now, there's nothing wrong with you. Okay, you're you. Everybody heals at their own pace. This isn't a race. There's no finish line. There's no time for healing. It is a process and it takes time. It takes time. Give yourself that time. You're not going to expire. Stick with it, and don't put it off. Don't put off dealing with it and just go through your day. Just pretend like it's not happening. That's only going to delay your process all the more. And the last thing you want to do is have another more time that you're going to have to go through healing and having that pain heal. I'm not going to lie. Let's face it. No matter how you look at it, no matter how you slice it up, you're in for a bumpy ride. It's a rough, tough process. Grab on and hang on. Expect the unexpected to happen. Your emotions are going to be all over the place. You are, believe it or not, going to have periods of happiness. And you're allowed those minutes of happiness while you're going through this. Take them for what they're worth. It's okay to fully experience that happiness. And people have a tendency that if they realize they're feeling happy, then they feel guilty. And then they backslide. Grab onto those moments. Embrace them for what they are. It is okay not to be okay. Take care of yourself and give yourself that love. You'll have days where you're going to be down. You'll have days where you're going to feel better. It's going to be a roller coaster the whole time. The important thing is don't give up on yourself. Don't get frustrated. It's going to take time, but you're worth it. You're worth it. You will know when you're ready to move on. Try the things that we've talked about here today. Try something different that you might think would help you. Try one of the things. Try all of them. Try none of them. I hope some of the things we've talked about today has made you think and will help you in your journey and hopefully a healed heart. And I will tell you, in all honesty, there are some types of broken hearts. They'll never fully maybe go away, but it does get better with time. I can tell you that much from experience. You will heal with time. It will get better. Stick to it. Don't give up. We're here together. That's why I do this, and that's why I want to keep doing it. So with that being said, I want to remind everybody to please subscribe and save. And this is the time every week where I give everybody my teaser. So, because this was a little bit of an encouraging, but a little bit more of a deep conversation we've had today, I'm going to lighten it up a little bit next week. I have had so many people since I started doing this. Why did you become a YouTuber? What made you want to do that? How do you find your topics? How'd you learn to do it? Well, next week, I'm going to talk about it and I'm going to tell you about what I did, how I got to this point, and why I'm still doing it. So, with that being said, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it. I always appreciate you. Remember, you're worth it. So, with that being said, we're going to do our ending. Here we go. We can do this. We got this. I can and I will. You will too. I believe in you. Believe in yourself. You're amazing and you're worth it. So, until next time, my friends, next Saturday at 4, take care of yourselves, stay safe, and remember, you are worth it. You will heal. So, until next time, my friends, have a great weekend, rest of the weekend, and a great week next week. So, until next time, bye-bye.